Good morning. All right. So that's me. That's not Rob. This is me. So hopefully I'll do Rob some justice. The cloud. How many people are in the cloud today or have a cloud-based service today? Okay. How many people are not sure if they have a cloud-based service today? All right. Good. So the cloud is one of those things that is a technical term, if you will, of a way of doing business, right? So everyone's got the same business pressures that they had maybe 10, 12 years ago, but the world is getting smaller, right? There's a globalized competitive force out there. Time to market becomes important. Agility becomes important. Focus becomes important. And so IT itself is transforming to help support some of these business initiatives and drivers. And so top of the mind, when we talk to a lot of software companies or businesses out there in the market, we hear the same sort of concerns and top of mind issues that we've heard 10, 12 years ago, right? Being competitive is important. Staying focused is important. Reducing costs is important. Getting out to market with time to market products is super important. Security, right? Everyone's online. Data is everywhere. Access is ubiquitous, right? So security and privacy becomes important. There's new channels out there now for marketing, such as Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all the social media channels. How do you protect your assets and your brand and drive your brand through these channels? So a lot of old concerns, but there's also new factors that are involved in driving your business that you do need to keep in mind of, that you do need to keep aware of. But the time is now ripe for leveraging IT and cloud services to really drive your business to the next level. The advances that we've had over the last 5-6 years in cloud technology or just IT technology in general has really helped in providing secure platforms. The network is pervasive. So your network inside your building or inside your house can easily be connected to a wider network that's accessible around the world, right, through a cloud-based network. CIOs, business people can really start focusing on the business as opposed to the infrastructure and the IT that enables that business, right? That's important, so keeping focused and being nimble. The proliferation of cloud offerings is huge. Mobile devices are everywhere now. Tablets, all these different devices, bring your own device. They're proliferated and they're available globally. So how do you tap into that? How do you tap into those assets? We're living in an economic environment where costs matter, right? And so there are business pressures to maintain costs and to be more efficient, to do more with less. There's the emergence of new platforms, right? New technology that can really help drive a business. So what I'm going to do today is just kind of lay out at a high level sort of the technical implications or the technical overviews of what cloud means, and then my colleagues here will talk on the business side and take a real life example of how to enable a cloud implementation. So when we look at cloud today, think of it as a pooled resource of stuff, of IT, right? Not just servers, but services, right? So the services that are layered on top of the servers, the infrastructure itself. Think self-service, right? So you'll be able to, as an IT manager or as an IT person, be able to connect to a service fairly instantly and on demand and leverage those services, right? Or if you're using an online software service, you'll be able to tap into that service and start running it right away. You don't need to download stuff, install stuff, get a server configured, and implement a particular software service. So self-service is huge. Elasticity is huge. People's businesses change, right? Demands on an IT infrastructure change. So you could have peaks, you could have troughs, you could have spikes. That elasticity that allows you to grow, that allows your IT infrastructure to grow with your business demands is very important. And it's usage-based. So why would you buy a server farm of 20 servers, 30 servers, 50 servers when you're only using 10% utilization overnight, right? So you've just got a warehouse full of servers that aren't really doing that much. So you pay for what you use, right? Which is a much better economic model. So all this helps drive economics, agility, and focus. So when we look at the IT continuum of where we've been and where we're going, we've gone from having physical servers and physical machines and a physical IT infrastructure in our building, in our business, to a virtual private mixed model where we might have a hosted provider that hosts some of our servers that we own, to a cloud virtual-based offering where a hosting vendor, such as Microsoft or Amazon or Google, has a server infrastructure that they're hosting on your behalf. So there's different models. And so what I'll do is just kind of paint the different models at a high level so you understand what's available. So when you have your own server on your own location, we call that an on-premises implementation. And so on-premises, you own the server, you own the network, you own the operating system, you own all those layers that sit on top of that server, right? It's up to you to maintain it. It's up to you to make sure they're updated and upgraded, and that they're maintained properly, right? So this an on-premise offering, which means typically you need an IT department or you need some IT professionals to help you maintain that infrastructure. The next model is an infrastructure as a service model, IaaS as we call it. This is where you have a service, a hosting service that's hosting some core elements of your infrastructure, such as your networking, your storage, your set of servers, and maybe a virtualization offering. All that's being managed by your hosting provider. So you don't have to worry about the network and the server configurations and the updates and the backups. That's being taken care of for you. What you have to worry about is the stuff that sits on top of that infrastructure. So the operating system. Is it Windows Server? Is it Linux? Is it some other operating system that sits on top of that server infrastructure? The middleware, your application, your runtime. All that, the application service layer is what you would look after, right? So it's a mixed model. And then the other model is a platform as a service model. And this is where, again, a big part of that stack is managed by your hosting vendor, right? Everything from the operating system down to the network level, the boxes, the servers, the runtime environment, all that is maintained by your hosting vendor. So the SLAs, the performance, the guarantees, the backups, the tuning, all that's being maintained by your vendor. Big savings, right? All you have to worry about is the application and the data that you're deploying to that infrastructure. So big benefit, because a lot of that IT headache, a lot of that IT maintenance that has to happen, that's important, is offloaded to your vendor, right? So they're taking care of that. It's that for you. So, and then the other model, the fourth model, is software as a service. So this is a complete software offering that sits on top of a stack that's being offered through a hosting vendor. Think Office 365, right? Complete Office through the cloud. You don't have to download things, you don't have to install on servers, you don't have to worry about implementation. You can just log on, access a service, use Microsoft Word, done with it, and you're done. You don't have to worry about installations or deployments, right? Hotmail, Gmail, great examples, right? Just turn on, attach, connect. You don't have to worry about email servers and all the other stuff. That is software as a service. So there are different models depending on your business. One of the benefits and one of the biggest areas of growth that we've seen from Microsoft perspective is a platform as a service perspective, because this really enables the IT department and the business to be more agile, right? So as a business owner or as an IT manager, I don't have to worry about setting up servers in my environment, setting up SQL servers, setting up Windows servers, setting up all the networking cabling that needs to happen. I've got an infrastructure, the building blocks, if you will, already established, already set up in the cloud. I just need to make sure that my application and my data models are well structured, and I just point to that cloud, and within minutes, I can have an instance running, right, on a set of servers, right? So it's really, really quick, really agile, really nimble, very effective. So we say platform as a service is faster to market, it's faster to get something up and running. Developers love it because the developers can just focus on the application, building beautiful stuff, building productive stuff, right? They don't have to mess around with server configuration and tuning and settings, if you will. So applications can go from an idea to creating beautiful stuff that can be deployed easily. Platform as a service is cheaper. There's less administrative costs. There's less IT burden on the business to maintain that infrastructure. So you're way more efficient in running platform as a service type of an offering. And there's lower risk. Lower risk because the infrastructure is being maintained and taken care of by the hosted vendor, right? So you don't have to worry about security, SLAs, backups, downtime. All that's in the contract with you and the service vendor. So again, very efficient and a lot of good benefits. I'll run through this quickly. There are different cloud computing patterns that make sense, right? You have the on-off. So if you're doing a lot of batch processing, a lot of data crunching overnight, right? You can use turn on your cloud environment, turn on those servers that need to do that number crunching, run it for a couple of hours, number crunching done, shut it down, right? So batch on and off type of processing. Growing fast type of scenario. So if you got a social media or online marketing type of service, and you've got millions and millions of users hitting your service month over month, and millions of people interacting with your online application or your mobile application, you need to be able to scale and handle that load effectively. Unpredictable bursting, right? So if you have a sale or you have a promo or it's Christmas time, or if you have a lot of people hitting your site all at once for some, based on some campaign or something, you need to be able to handle that spike. And then there's also predictable bursting, where you understand your business, you understand the flow of your business, the rhythm of your business, and be able to handle that traffic and that load effectively. So all those cases, because the usage changes, it's on demand, it's elastic, that's where cloud platform really, really helps. I won't go into all these different use cases, but we see a lot of these use cases really benefiting from a cloud environment. Everything from high performance grid computing, where you're doing a lot of data heavy computations on a set of servers, right? There's a set of servers in the cloud that can just do all that crunching for you. Turn it on, boom, done, and you're good to go. Another interesting scenario is test and development. So application developers, if you've got a development team, they don't have to worry about setting up servers and configurations of a development sandbox in your business or in your environment. You can leverage environments that are ready to go in the cloud, right? So your developers aren't fiddling around with settings and configurations. There's an infrastructure there. You can easily point to it, make some changes on the server end, on the cloud end, and deploy and build your applications and do all your testing in a sandbox. Use it when you need it, right? Very, very effective. So things to look for in a cloud platform. One is obviously the physical features, right? Make sure that these things don't really live in the cloud. There's a big warehouse with a set of boxes and servers and machines and fans and air conditioning and all that type of stuff. You want to make sure that whatever hosting service vendor you choose has the right infrastructure and has the right SLAs and guarantees behind that infrastructure. So at Microsoft, we have a number of these physical locations across the world, and there's a lot of people behind the scenes maintaining these environments, right? So it's a big deal. Geo distribution, again, making sure that all your eggs are not in one basket, that you got distribution across the world, right? The world is small. It's a global world now, so you've got customers everywhere. So where does it make sense in offload balancing your service, your services? It makes sense. Redundant platform. Security and availability is huge, right? You're relying on someone else is providing you a service. Make sure you have an SLA in place. What are those guarantees? What are those clawbacks? Make sure that's well articulated. And compliance, privacy, right? Your data is private. Make sure that that server environment cannot be hacked. That service environment is compliant to health regulations or privacy regulations, right? So that's a big deal. So just taking another slice at this, make sure you understand your hosting vendor's global physical presence. Where are these boxes? Where are these warehouses actually positioned? and where do they live. Look at the fabric, right? What's being offered? Is it just a set of boxes that's being offered, or is there an actual application layer, what we call the fabric, the app fabric, that's being offered? Because that's where you're going to get the most benefit. It's not just the boxes that are hosted. It's the actual application layer that you can tap into, that you can tune, that you can readily access, that will provide you the value. From that, you have a bunch of services such as data, e-commerce, integration, analytics. All that stuff is available in the cloud, and you should be able to support. It should be able to support a number of frameworks. If you're developing in .NET, I'm hoping you're developing in .NET, but you don't have to develop in .NET. It could be Java, it could be open source. Whatever framework you use, that hosting environment should be able to support that. And luckily at Microsoft, we do. So that's the session. I hope this was interesting. It was a high-level sort of introduction to the IT implications to the cloud. Lots of information. We've got tons of information on our windowsazure.com. Azure is the name for our cloud platform. But if you have any other questions, feel free to fire me off an email or a tweet. And with that, I think we're done, right?